Hi Virgo, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carole and this is going to be a general reading for you for August 2026 and I hope you're doing well out there. This month we're going to be doing mirror work and it's a reading I've done on my channel a couple times and it's also a requested, probably the most requested reading on my personal readings that I offer you on carolecares.com, and the link is below if you're interested. But because I'm doing this reading this month, I've decided that for the month of August I'm going to discount this reading, and it's going to be, there's an extended version when I do it as a personal reading, but I'm going to shorten it a bit today. So mirror work is something that's we can use to understand what's going on with our internal system. Sometimes there's a belief system that's attached to it or that live in the unconscious. There could be memories that live in the unconscious, and that will all be reflected to us. The universe will do that. It'll try to show us something in our outer world that will connect to our unconscious so that we can start to heal it. So this month, start to bring awareness to that. Like, start to look at, how are people reacting to me right now? If you have children, like even grown children, like what's going on with myself and grown children? Is there something that's coming up here? Somebody that I work with. Sometimes our pets will do weird things. Sometimes we'll hear something weird, and that'll bring up something. I'm going to give you an example. The other day, I went to the cinema, for the first time in my life alone, and I ended up sitting beside somebody who asked me if this was the first time. Do I come to the movies often? And I was so caught off guard because it was the first time that I ever went to the movies by myself. And this was like a weird question. It was almost like, don't talk to me. And it was a male. And I knew from that. I mean, the universe does that. It's my first time going to the movies myself. And I get this guy that's got this ridiculous pickup line, and so I had to deal with that. I didn't want to. I was like, I wanted to put that away, and I convinced myself that this means nothing, right? But that was the universe going, here's something really random, really weird, and you need to take that and don't ignore it. And I work with a trauma life coach, and she said to me, no, you can't ignore that because it's too random. Like, it's just, and so sure enough, I've been working on the memory for the last week. But that's an example, right? So actually, Virgo, you're the only sign that I told this to. I haven't told any other sign about that story. But that's an example of you can't ignore that, right? I could have went home and laughed about it and said, what an idiot, blah, blah, blah. But it was like, no, there's something here, right? Because he just caught me completely off guard, and it was, So we start to use people around us because sometimes things are said, and it's the universe's way of, saying, okay, what's going on? What do I need to look at here? So, we're going to start off with your outer world, which is on my left and it's your right. And I'm going to ask for 3 cards, and that's going to be what you're consciously aware of. And then we're going to look at, okay, how is that mirroring something coming up in your inner world from your unconscious that you're not aware of, that when you were younger, you put it away, something you put away, but it's now surfacing. And you're seeing it in your outer world. This isn't something I'm making up. This is real. This is actually my life, and it's how I get a lot of my clues to my own suppressed memories. And so let's start off with, we're going to use the Erenberg Tarot, and and also the Curious Travels deck for your unconscious. And then I'm going to also ask for a message from the universe, a final message for you, and then how you're going to start to heal this. All right, so let's begin with one card for your outer world, Virgo. Maybe my story will relate to something that's coming up for you. I don't know. Sometimes it does, but I just, you know, it's like here you have the King of Swords. All right. And another card for Virgo. I'm very strict at how many cards come out. Tower in reverse. Okay, so I like when the Tower comes out in reverse because it's just so much different than the Tower upright. And you have the Queen of Cups in reverse. Three interesting cards. What I see is you have the feminine, the masculine, which are my Queen and my King, around the Tower. So there's a little battle going on here, and we'll get into that. Now we'll look at your inner world. All right, this is what's going on here. Let's have one card. That one wants to come out. The Ten of Swords in reverse. Another card. The Sun card. And one more. The Two of Pentacles in reverse. Let's ask for a final message. The Lover's card, which, oh, that's fascinating. The Lover's card has everything to do with the masculine and the feminine parts of us. And then finally, healing. How you can start to heal this. The Queen of Pentacles. Yes, I have to look to see if it's a pentacle. Sorry, Wands. It's always the swords and the wands I get mixed up here with the shape of it. So yeah, it's the Queen of Wands. Okay. Yeah, let's begin with your outer world and what Virgo is happening in your life right now. Okay, well, you have the King of Swords. I said, you know, you have the masculine and the feminine. So the kings in my deck represent the masculine side of us. It has nothing to do with gender. We all have a masculine and a feminine part of us. And the king is our ego self. That's the masculine part. That's our mind right now. And so I'm going to say that you are very much up in your head, which means that you're not in your body. You're not feeling your emotions, because when we're up in our head, we don't feel our emotions. And so your ego self is here to block what's coming up, because our ego self likes status quo, and it's a protector part from childhood. And so it still thinks you're a child. And whatever's coming up, if it's emotions or memories or something, it doesn't want you to go there because those are dangerous. And so it'll keep you up in your head so that you don't have to feel. Because, you know, the Tower card comes in right after it. And the Tower card in reverse talks about, you know, you can be given these red flags over and over and over again. And this final Tower in reverse is actually, I see it as a final big red flag from the universe until this Tower card becomes upright. And that shifts, rocks your world. And you know what I mean, because everyone has moments in their lives where it's just like, oh my God, like I'll never get through this. Like things that happen to us where it's just like we're hit over the head with a baseball bat. But oftentimes the universe will send us messages beforehand. And this is another one. It seems to be that there's a big message here for you. And this is a general reading. But there's a big message here for you that your ego self, I call it a controller, does not want you to consider. And so what is this message about? Well, I think, and then you got the Queen here. And the Queen is our feminine side. And she is the Queen of Cups. Cups is all about emotions. And so, this is huge because the Queen is always in her body. She feels all her emotions, right? She is your body. And so you've got this battle going on here. There is something here that's saying, you need to feel this. What is it, Virgo? Have you been pushing down and it comes up and you're like, nope, I'm not feeling this, and I'm putting it back down? You know what it is. And I'm sure you say to yourself, oh, here it comes, it's coming up again. I know it. Something's coming up here, you know? Whatever it is, there's something here. And you're like, I'm not feeling this. And so the universe is saying, okay, this is going to become a tower moment. You have to feel this. And so why won't you feel this? Why? This is what you have to look at. Because this is what's happening in your outer world, right? It comes up, you push it down. It comes up. It's like that whack-a-mole game, right? And and the story that I told you earlier was, I didn't want to look at it. You know, the dude asked me a question. It's like, I did. I was kept putting it out of my head. I was like, I'm not even going to tell my on my last phone call with my trauma coach. I said, I'm not even going to tell her. I'm not even going to tell her. But then I got to a point where I went, no, you need to tell her, because this is something. And I kept on telling my ego self was saying, it's nothing. You don't have to look at this. Don't look at this. Don't go there. Don't go there. Well, if you're hearing don't go there, that is your ego self. But, your Queen here is like, no, you need to feel this. And so where does that come from? Why are you pushing this down? Why don't you want to feel this? And that's what you need to look at. So let's go. There's something here in your unconscious that you've buried from childhood, adolescence, that, it's coming up here. And this is what's coming up. There's some real, look at this individual right here. In an upright position, this is someone that has, it's the end of a cycle when you were younger. And it did you completely in to the point that you gave up. And swords are what people said to you, what people called you, the things that people said to you that you might be still repeating in your head. What sort of things are you saying to yourself when whatever this is that you're pushing back down? What kind of things are you saying to yourself that makes you not look at it, keeps you really small and say, I'm not going there? But when you were younger, I think you gave up when you were younger because people were cruel to you. People were mean to you. The things they said to you, that you when you were younger gave up. And here's the Sun card. And this is in your unconscious. This is the stuff you buried, you put away. Well, Sun's all about joy. And I mean pure childhood joy. There was no joy in your childhood because people told you shit that made you feel horrible, right? And so no wonder you don't want to bring this up because, you had a lot of pain when you were growing up. And the last card here is your Two of Pentacles in reverse. In an upright position, this juggler is not at all grounded. He's standing on one foot trying to juggle everything here, right? And I like how it's got the shape of 8, because 8 speaks about, eternity goes on forever. And this seemed like when you were younger that whatever this was going on forever. And you became quite ungrounded as a child, right? And I mentioned that how if you become ungrounded, that means you go up in your head because there's no emotions up here. You were too young to try to balance all of this, right? Trying to figure out what's going on in your life. And as you can see, it almost looks like this individual is like really confused, right? Just really frantic and all over the place, and scattered is the word I've been looking for. And so maybe you're maybe that's you right now. Maybe you're feeling very, very scattered all over the place, not knowing what to do. And I can see that because on one hand you've got your ego self going, no, don't go there. And then you've got the queen, the feminine side, that these feelings want to come out. And they're pushing against each other. And you know you've got to do something about this, but you're just feeling all over the place because that's what you were like when you were younger. You were all over the place with your emotions. There was no support around to help you. And so when you had all these big emotions of things that were going around you, you just gave up. And I think that's what happened. Every time these emotions come up, you don't know what to do with them. And so you give up. And that's why I said, like, that whack-a-mole game where, you know, you just kind of push them back down, you push them back down, you just give up because you don't know what to do with them. That's what I'm getting from this. And so I'm going to give you some guidance now as to, okay, how can you deal with this, Virgo? Well, the first one is your Lover's card, which I said was the Lover's card talks about bringing a balance between the masculine and the feminine side. And so, because the Lovers, if you know that card, it has a masculine and a feminine figure on there. And Lovers is not about your lover coming in, or, you know what I mean, your next partner's got nothing to do with that. It's about, okay, let's bring these two sides together, which means you've got two sides right now as an adult. I said you've got your mind, your ego self that's pushing all this down and saying, no, don't go there. It's petrified of these emotions, right, that you need to deal with right now. And then your feminine side that wants you to deal with it, wants you to get back in your body. And so we need some advice from the tarot here because you need to bring this into balance. And so what's the advice from the tarot? Where do you start with this, right? Well, you have the Queen of Wands. And again, the Queen is your feminine side. But this one is the Wand. This is this creative side to you. This is the one that takes you into the direction you're meant to go into. And so I wanted to, I mean, it is the Queen, so that means, you know, this is your creative side, your feminine side, and the universe wants you to start to get in touch with that side. I do want to clarify it with one more card just to be a little bit more specific, to give you a little bit more advice as how you can start to heal this. What does Virgo need to do? Be a little bit more specific. Give me some more advice. One more card, please. One more card for Virgo. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, you got the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. This is an ace is a gift from the universe. It's an offer. And this is the final offer because this is the final red flag, right? Because when we don't feel our emotions, they get stuck in our body. And that's where diseases come out. That's how we get sick. We get really sick when we don't deal with our emotions, when we don't feel them. The pentacle, it's a gift right here. It's your body. And the universe is saying, you need to take this pentacle first of all, and you need to get into your body. You need to get grounded. I would advise you, I'm going to give you a playlist on how to ground yourself. And I did it a few years ago, but this is the way I do it myself. It teaches you how to get into your body and how to ground yourself, how to get out of your mind, your ego self, and back into your body, because that's where your emotions are, right? You know, you need to start feeling them. And if you can do it for 5 seconds, you know, at a time, try to watch one of those videos, see if you can maybe try to ground yourself just for, 5 seconds, and the next time you're going to hold it for 10 seconds. But you got to get out of here and allow what wants to come through. What is this? These emotions that need to come through right now. All right, Virgo? So I want you to have compassion for yourself, for what you're working through. I know this is a very difficult journey, but it's the most important one. So take care, and I'll talk soon. Bye-bye.